Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Om Ganana Tva Ganapati Gammavamahe Kavim Kavinam Pavashravastramam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanan Brahmanaspata Anushranoti Visida Sadhanam Om Mahaganadipataye Namaha Om Keshwaya Namaha Om Narayana Namaha Om Madhvaya Namaha गोविंदाय नमः विष्णुवे नमः मत्सोदराय नमः त्रिविक्रमाय नमः वामनाय नमः श्रीधराय नमः ऋषिकेशाय नमः पद्मनाभाय नमः दामोदराय नमः संकर्षणाय नमः वासुदेवाय नमः प्रद्युम्नाय नमः निरुद्धाय नमः पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः दोक्षाय नमः नारसिंहाय नमः अच्युताय नमः जनार्दनाय नमः उपेन्द्राय नमः हरे नमः श्रीकृष्णाय नमः श्रीकृष्णाय नमः नमः विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः ॐ ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डाय विच्चे ॐ ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डाय विच्चे ॐ ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डाय विच्चे हरि ओम् हरि ओम्. Dear friends and devotees, we were discussing with Shiva Maha Puranam. Saunaka Maharishis are asking, and Sutta Maharishi is telling, narrating the Shiva Purana in Naimisharanya to other Maharishis. Acquiring Shivalinga by date. Once Brahmaji went to Kshirosagra, the abode of Vishnu, accompanied by all the Devatas. Brahmaji asked Lord Vishnu how a man could be liberated from his sorrows. Lord Vishnu told them that this objective could be met by worshipping Shivalinga by the devotees. So all the deities, all Devadeva Lokapalaka asked, they went prayed to Lord Shiva, who after becoming a priest instructed Vishwakarma to construct Shivalinga for them. Vishwakarma then made a Shivalinga for Kubera, a Shivalinga of yellow diamond, a Shivalinga of yellow diamond for Dharmaraja, that's Yamadharmaraja, a Shivalinga of dark colored diamond for Varuna, Shivalinga of indrained diamond for Vishnu, and a golden Shivalinga for Brahmaji. Similarly, Vishnudeva was given a Shivalinga made up of silver. The Ashwini Kumaras were given Shivalinga made up of bronze. Lakshmi was given a Shivalinga made up of a crystal, Spatikalinga. Sun god Suryadayana was given a Shivalinga made of copper, and the moon god has given a Shivalinga made of pearl. Like this, Vishwakarma constructed Shivalinga for all the Devatas. Methods of worshipping Shivalinga now. Brahmaji described the following methods of worship of Shivalinga. After performing the rituals like Achamana and Pranayama, a devotee should apply Tripunda on his forehead and wear a Rudraksha on his body. After the study of Shanti Pata and the performance of Devata Namaskara, he should make resolution if he has any wish to be fulfilled. Then the worship of Shivalinga should be done with the help of Mahima, Stavana, and offering flowers to Shivalinga. The purity of the mantras should be maintained while chanting them. The virtues of worship of Shivalinga methodically, it has been mentioned in the Shiva Purana that making offerings in the form of lotus, Shatapatra, Shankapushpa, and the leaves of wood apple tree, Bilvapatra, helps a man in attaining wealth and prosperity. For becoming free from disease, 50 lotus flowers should be offered to the Shivalinga. Mrityunjaya Japa should be chanted for 5 lakh times. For all types of accomplishment, 1 lakh Datura fruits should be offered for a long life, worldly pleasure, as well as for attaining salvation at the end of the life. The origin of Kailasa and Vaikuntha. Brahmaji revealed to Narada how the process of creation was commenced. After Lord Shiva vanished from our sight, I transformed myself into the appearance of a swan, and Vishnuji transferred his appearance into that of a boar with the purpose of commencing the process of creation. First of all, I created the water. I poured a palmful of water into it, and an egg manifested which consisted of all the 24 elements. This egg was a very enormous size, which made me confused. I did penance for 12 years. Vishnuji appeared before me. I requested him to bring that egg to consciousness. Vishnuji entered into that egg. As a result of this, Kailash mountain and all the 7 worlds came into existence. After that, the static living things were created, which symbolized the dark quality tamoguna. After that, I created 4-footed animals like crows, animals like cows and ox, etc. In spite of these creations, I was not satisfied, so I again went into meditation. As a result of the deities were created which symbolize the virtuous quality of Sattvaguna. Once again, I meditated on the human species came into existence, which symbolized the medium quality Rajoguna with the permission of Lord Shiva. I then created spirits like ghosts, etc. After that, I created my 5 Manasaputras, Sanaka, Sanandana, etc. But they were so ascetic and detached from the world that they showed their disinclination in contributing the process of creation. This made me angry. Tears rolled down from my eyes. With the permission of Vishnuji, I did tremendous penance to have a darshana of Lord Shiva. Emergence of Rudra Avatara. Brahmaji said to Narada, when I accomplished my penance, Lord Shiva manifested in his incarnation of Rudra form in between the eyebrows. Half of his body resembled like that of a woman, Ardhanarishvara. I requested him help me in my creational activities. Rudra created his host, Rudragana, who resembled like him. I requested him to create the mortals, to which he laughed and said that he liberated mortals from their sorrow, so how could he fasten them with bondages? Rudra requested me to create the mortals and then he vanished. Creation. Preaching Narada on the essence of Shiva Tattva, Brahmaji said, with the permission of Lord Shiva, I created the 5 basic elements from which the matter is made and also all types of arts. I also created the time. Despite all these creations, I was not satisfied. I created sage Maricha from my eyes, sage Bhrigu from my heart, sage Angirasa from my head, sage Pulaha from my Vanavayu, sage Pulasta from my Udanavayu, sage Vasista from my Samanavayu, sage Krutu from my Apanavayu, sage Atri from my ear, Daksha Prajapati from my vital air, you Narada manifested from my lap, sage Kardama and Dharma manifested from my shadow. Then I divided my body into 2 parts, and from each of the 2 parts, Manu and Shatarupa manifested respectively. Manu and Shatarupa manifested respectively. Both of them got married and in this way commenced the conjugal creation. Priyavrata and Uttanapada were the 2 sons born to Manu and Shatarupa. Shatarupa also gave birth to 3 daughters whose names were Akuti, Devahuti and Prasuti. Sage Ruchi was married to Akuti, Sage Kardama was married to Devahuti and Daksha Prajapati was married to Prasuti. Sage Yajna and Dakshina were born to Sage Ruchi and Akuti. Numerous daughters were born to Sage Kardama and Devahuti. Similarly, 24 daughters were born to Daksha and Prasuti. Daksha married 13 of his daughters to Dharma. The rest of his daughters were married to sages like Pulasya, etc. All the 3 worlds are inhabited by the progenies of these sages. The same Daksha Prajapati had 60 daughters in another Kalpa who were married to sages like Kashyapa, etc. In this Kalpa, Sati was one of his daughters, who was married to Lord Shiva. Sati, being distressed by the disrespect shown by her father Daksha to her husband Shiva, she had given up her life by jumping into the sacrificial fire. In her next birth, she was born as Parvati, Parvataraja's daughter, and was again married to Shiva. This way, I created this world with the permission of Lord Shiva. Gunandi, the Brahma's son. Naraji asked Lord Brahma, when did Lord Shiva make Kailash as his abode, and what was the reason of friendship between the Shivaji and Kubera? Shiva and Kubera. Brahmaji narrated the following story. 5. There used to be live a Brahmin by name Yajnadatta in Kampila Nagara, who was proficient in the performance of Soma Yajna. He had a son named Gunanidhi. Though he was a scholar, but at the same time he was religious and kept bad company. He used to indulge in evil activities like gambling. His father, Yajnadatta, was unaware of his evil activities. Whenever he asked his wife about Gunanidhi's habits and conduct, his wife used to tell his lies and praise the conduct of Gunanidhi. Thus, Gunanidhi's condition became worse day by day. Yajnadatta married Gunanidhi with a girl belonging to a well-to-do family, but his habits had not changed. His mother tried her best to make him understand, but it was of no avail. One day, Yajnadatta saw a gambler wearing his ring. He asked him about that ring. The gambler told him that his son Gunanidhi had lost it to him in the gamble. He also informed him that he had also lost numerous ornaments and other properties in the gamble. Yajnadatta became very angry. He married with another woman after abandoning his wife and son. Gunanidhi's salvation. When Gunanidhi came to know about his father's second marriage, he moved to another place, cursing his fate. He kept on walking till he became tired. He sat under a tree and started thinking about his further course of action. He heart was full of remorse and repented for his past actions. As his mind was engrossed in such kind of thoughts, he saw some villagers going towards temple. They were carrying prasadam in their hands. Since Gunanidhi was hungry, he followed them, and after reaching the temple, he sat at the main gate of the temple. In the night, after the accomplishment of the puja, the devotees went to sleep. Gunanidhi entered the premises, went into sleep as well. Gunanidhi entered the premises of the temple. The flame of the lamp was gradually becoming dim, as the result of which he could not see properly. He tore some pieces of cloth he was wearing and made a thick wick and put it in the lamp. Now the light was sufficient to enable him to see whatever he had been offered to the deity. He carried as much fruits and other eatables as possible and tried to sneak out of the temple. Unfortunately, he dashed against a devotee, woke up and chased him, shouting, "Thief, thief!" Hearing his cries, all the other devotees woke up and caught Gunanidhi. He was given such a nice thrashing that proved to be fatal, and as a result, Gunanidhi died. The Yamadutas arrived to take his soul to Yamaloka, but right then the Shivaganas arrived and prevented the Yamadutas from carrying his soul. They informed the Yamadutas that Gunanidhi was entitled for Shivaloka as he had devotedly observed the Shivaratris fast and listened to the tales of Shiva and lighted up the lamp which was about to go off. The Shivaganas also informed the Yamadutas that in his next birth Gunanidhi would become the kings of Kalinga. In this way, Gunanidhi attained Shivaloka. In the next birth, he was born as the son of a king Arindama, the king of Kalinga. He was named as Dhamma. When he was still young, his father Arindana dies, so Dana succeeded him as the king of Kalinga. He renovated all the Shiva temple which came under his jurisdiction and passed a stricture which made the worship of Lord Shiva compulsory for all the subjects. By the blessing of Lord Shiva, he became the king of Alakapuri and was known as Kubera. By blessing of Lord Shiva, he became the king of Alakapuri and was known as Kubera from that time onwards. Shiva blesses Gunanidhi. During the Padmakalpa, sage Vishrava was born to sage Pulatsya, the Manasaputra of Lord Brahma. Vishrava's son, Vishravan, ruled by over Alakapuri for a long time. This city was constructed by the deity Vishwakarma. Vishwaravan was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. During the Kalpa named Meghavan, Gunadhi did tremendous penance for 10 lakh years. As a result of this penance, his body was reduced to skeleton. Lord Shiva became very pleased with him and appeared before him, accompanied by his consort Parvati. He told Gunadhi to ask for any boon which will be fulfilled. When Gunadhi heard Shiva's voice, he opened his eyes, but his eyes were dazzled by the sheer radiance of Lord Shiva. He requested Shiva to restore the power of sight in his eyes. Shiva blessed him, as a result, which was now able to see the divine sight of Lord Shiva. But he became jealous of Uma, who was present by the side of Shiva. He was wondering as to who was this lady, dearer to Shiva than him. He glanced cruelly towards her. As a result of his left eye lost the power sight. Parvati asked Lord Shiva as to why he was this sage Gunadhi looking cruelly towards her. Shiva replied, "He is none other than your son. He is looking at you in astonishment as he is bewildered at the feats achieved for penance." Lord Shiva then blessed Gunadhi to become the king of the kings. He also assured him that he will always be present in the vicinity of Alakapuri. After being blessed by Shiva, Gunadhi also made salutation to Parvati. Parvati said, "Since you have looked at me angrily, your hatred and enmity towards me was clearly visible. For this reason, you will be known as Kubera." After blessing Gunadhi, both Shiva and Parvati to a place called Vishweshwara Kailasha mountain was situated near Alkanagari. Shiva goes to Kailash. When Rudra, the Amsha of the Almighty Brahma, heard about the tremendous penance Kubera was doing, he started to play his damaru, the sound of which reached all the three worlds. Rudra then reached the place where Kubera was doing penance. Hearing the sound of his damaru, all the deities, including Brahma, Vishnu, and Sadashiva, appeared before him. When Kubera saw the Lord Rudra before himself, he offered his seat to him and worshipped him. He also worshipped the other deities. Rudra was also pleased with Kubera that he decided to stay near him. He called Vishwakarma and ordered him to conduct his abode at Kailasha mountain so that he could live in it and could live in the vicinity of his great devotee Kubera. Kubera constructed a beautiful city as per his instruction. An auspicious moment was chosen and Shiva went to live at Kailasha mountain. He was coronated by the deities. Brahmaji in this way told Narada about Shiva's departure to Kailasha mountain. Now the next section is Sati Khanda. In the Sati Khanda of Rudra Samhita, Narada inquires Lord Brahma about the reason why Lord Shiva married Sati. In spite of being a yogi, he also requested Brahmaji to tell how Sati became the daughter of Daksha Prajapati and in her next birth as Uma, the daughter of Himalaya Parvataraja. How did Uma get Lord Shiva as an husband? Asked Narada. Lord Brahma narrated the following narration. A girl by name of Sandhya manifested from my being. I was amazed by her heavenly beauty. Right then, divine entity appeared before me, whose beauty could not have been matched even by other devas. He was Kamadeva, the god of love. He influenced me to such an extent that I forgot that Sandhya was my daughter and got infatuated by her. When Rudra came to know about my lust for Sandhya, he admonished me and ridiculed me about my character. I felt ashamed, but I also became jealous of Rudra. I decided to influence him with the power of infatuation, but I was unsuccessful in my attempts. I remember Lord Vishnu, and he tried to make me understand about the futility of my attempts, as according to him, Vishnu, Rudra, was beyond the reach of any human emotions. But I instructed my son Daksha to help in procreation of a girl child from the womb of Ashwini Virini. This Sati was born. Sati later on became famous of Uma and got Rudra as her husband on account of her tremendous penance. Though Rudra was free from all kinds of attachment, but still he became so influenced by the desire of procreation that he married with Sati. He enjoyed a blissful married life for a very long time. Rudra, father-in-law Daksha, Rudra's father-in-law Daksha, in his arrogance, started condemning his son-in-law Rudra. Once Daksha organized a grand yajna ceremony. He gave invitation to everybody except Rudra and Uma. Despite of Rudra's disinclination to allow Sati to go to her father's yajna, she insisted that ultimately she was successful in convincing Rudra to allow her to go. When Sati reached there, she was not given respect by her father Daksha. Not only this, Daksha made fun of feeling dishonored. Sati gave up her life by jumping into the sacrificial fire. When Rudra got the news Sati's death, he became extremely furious. To take a revenge, he created Virabhadra from his locks of hair. Virabhadra went to Daksha place and destroyed his oblation and yajna. He severed Daksha's head. All the deities, devas, became afraid and prayed to Rudra to give mercy. Rudra then brought back Daksha to life and helped him be accomplished on the still incomplete yajna. The site where Sati had died later on became famous as Jwalamukhi Devi. The same Sati in her next birth was born as a Parvati to Himalaya. By her tremendous penance, she again got Lord Shiva as her husband. After that, Lord Brahma told Narada about the manifestation of Kama, the god of love. The manifestation of Kama, when I became infatuated by the divine beauty of Sandhya, my infatuation resulted into the manifestation of my another Manasaputra named Kamadeva. His beauty and qualities were incomparable. His manifestation not only inflicted me with lust, but also my other Mansaputras became filled up with the lust. Kamadeva made salutation to me and asked as to what was his name and purpose of being. I gave him the name Pushpavan and instructed him to help in the process of procreation. I also blessed him that nobody would remain unaffected by his influence, including myself and Vishnu. Brahma curses Kamadeva. After being named by Lord Brahma as Pushpavan, Kamadeva was also given various names of Manmata, Kama, Madana, etc. by sages like Maricha, etc. They also said to him that he would be married to Rati, the daughter of Daksha. Kamadeva himself was infatuated with the beauty of Sandhya. To test the authenticity of Brahma's boon, Kamadeva took out his 5 arrows and wanted to examine their power. The names of their arrows were Harshan, Rochan, Mohan, Shoshan, and Mara. These arrows had effect on the people present there, including Lord Brahma and Sandhya. Getting affected by these arrows, 49 types of thoughts emerged in Brahma's mind. Similarly, the flaws were clearly visible in Sandhya's behavior. Kamadeva became convinced of his powers and capabilities. But Dharma, the Manasaputra of Brahma, was saddened by this event. He prayed to Lord Shiva. When Lord Shiva saw the condition of Brahmaji, he became amused and made a fun of him and his Manasaputras. Everybody was ashamed. Due to this shame, Brahmaji perspired profusely. From his perspiration were created the Pitraganas. Similarly, from the perspiration of Daksha, Prajapati was created the most beautiful woman Rati. Feeling pity on him, Brahmaji consoled him and that although he would definitely get killed by the arrow of Shiva's sight, yet he would regain his physical body as soon as Shiva gets married. Lord Brahma then went to Brahmaloka. Kama married Rati. Daksha requested Kamadeva to get married with his daughter Rati. Kamadeva was very pleased with his proposal. Both Kamadeva and Rati got married. Sandhya does penance. Sandhya was very ashamed of herself for the atonement of her sin. She decided to penance. She went to Chandrabhaga mountain and commenced her tremendous penance. Lord Brahma then instructed Vasishtha to go to her in disguise and help her in getting her initiated. He went to Chandrabhaga mountain on the guise of a Brahmin and gave the mantra Om Namah Shankaraya Namo, Om Namah Shankaraya Om to her and also told her the methods of doing worship. Then he returned back. Sandhya receives a boon from Shiva. After the sage Vasishtha, who was disguised as a Brahmin, went away, Sandhya did penance as per his instruction. After passing of one Chaturyuga, she had a darshan of Lord Shiva. Shiva, being pleased by her devotion, asked her to demand anything. Sandhya said, nobody should have lust towards towards the member of his own clan. There should be no virtuous and chaste woman greater than me in this whole world. Anybody there, anybody other than my husband who looks at me with evil intentions become an important man. Nobody should have lust towards the member of his own clan. There should be no virtuous and chaste woman greater than me in this whole world. Anybody other than my husband who looks at me with evil intention become an important man. Lord Shiva blessed her by saying, Evamastu. Lord Shiva then categorized the lifespan of a man into 4 parts: childhood, adolescence, youth, and old age. He then told her that it was written in her destiny to die by burning. He also advised her to go to and surrender her body in the sacrificial fire of the yajna performed by Vedatiti. Before jumping into sacrificial fire, just remember anybody whom you want as your husband, and your wish will be fulfilled in your next birth. When you would take a birth as a daughter of Daksha Prajapati, your father Daksha Prajapati would marry his 27 daughters to Moon, but the Moon would have affection only towards Rohini, and rest of his wives would be neglected by him. For this reason, he would be cursed by Daksha. All the deities would take your refuge. After blessing Sandhya, in the way Lord Shiva went back to Kailash. Sandhya's birth and her marriage with sage Vasishtha. When Lord Shiva went away, Sandhya got up and went to the place where Medhatiti was performing the yajna. She was made a mental resolution to have that Brahmin as her husband, who in reality was Vasishtha, and then entered into the sacrificial fire. The fire of the yajna burnt her body and carried it to the solar system, where it was divided by the sun god into 3 parts and established in his chariot. The names of these 3 parts were Prata Sandhya, Madhyana Sandhya, and Sham Sandhya. Sandhya vital force was absorbed by Lord Shiva. When the yajna was ended, the sages were surprised to see the presence of a girl who was radiating like gold in the sacrificial fire. They took out that girl child from that yajna kunda. The sages then brought up that girl with love and affection. She was named Arundhati. When she attained the age of 5, the Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesha arrived and married her with Vasishtha Maharshi. Arundhati enjoyed a happy life and became famous for her Pativrata Dharma. Appearance of spring season, Vasanta Rutu. Brahmaji told Narada that since the day he was humiliated by Shiva, he had grudges against him and wanted to take revenge. I wanted to subdue the arrogance of Shiva by proving it to him that even he could be binded by attachment. I asked Daksha and sages like Maricha as to how this feat could be achieved. As a result of Rati and Kama manifested, I instructed Kama to influence Shiva by his powers. Kama agreed but requested me to create a suitably divine woman for Shiva. Myself and Daksha became worried, and during that time we exhaled fragrant air through our nostrils, which resulted into the creation of a spring season. The spring season was looking divinely beautiful in her physical form. I handed over her to Kama, and thus all the three of them, spring season, Kama, and Rati, went to influence Lord Shiva, who was in his deep state of meditation. The creations of Morgana's and Kama's futile attempts. Kama tried his best to bring Lord Shiva under his influence. All the living creatures were spellbound by his powers, except Lord Shiva and Ganesha. Kama returned back to Brahmaji and told him about his unsuccessful attempts. Brahmaji sighed heavily. From his sighs were created the ferocious giants, ferocious Ganas. These Ganas were shouting, Hare, Mare, kill, kill, Hare, Mare, kill, kill. They have tried to attack Lord Brahma. Kama then pacified the anger of these Ganas. These Ganas were named as Mara. Lord Brahma then sent these Ganas to Shivaloka along with the Kama and Rati to give it a second try. Once again, their attempts went futile. All of them returned to Lord Brahma and expressed their inability to influence Lord Shiva. Dialogue between Brahma and Vishnu. Lord Brahma then remembered Vishnuji, who appeared instantaneously. Brahmaji revealed about his intentions to him. Lord Vishnu told him that it was foolishness on his part to have enmity towards Shiva. But when Lord Brahma kept on insisting, he revealed to him that this could be only achieved by blessings of Goddess Parvati. Lord Vishnu said, if she becomes pleased with you, then she could help you in achieving your goal by taking birth in a human form and having Shiva as her husband. Instruct Daksha to do penance so that Parvati takes birth in his house. Goddess Durga worship. After Lord Vishnu went away, Lord Brahma started meditating on the form of Goddess Durga. She appeared before Brahma. Lord Brahma said, I need your help in binding Shiva with your Maya. Goddess Durga and Brahmaji told Brahmaji that Lord Shiva in his carnation, Rudra, was beyond the reach of any kind of Maya. But when Brahmaji kept in insisting, then Goddess Durga agreed to help him in his effort. She said, I will take birth as a daughter of Daksha Prajapati and try to please him by penance. After assuring Lord Brahma, she vanished. Lord Brahma too went to his abode. Daksha Prajapati worships Devina. With the permission of Lord Brahma, Daksha did penance for 3,000 years. As a result, Goddess Jagadamba appeared before him. She blessed him by saying that she would take a birth as his daughter and by her tremendous penance would attain Rudra as her husband. But she warned Daksha that if he showed any kind of disrespect to her, she would end her life. Daksha curses Narada. With the permission of Lord Brahma, Daksha Prajapati created many things just by his mental resolution. But finding the absence of any kind of evolution and development in them, he went to Brahmaji to take his advice. Brahmaji instructed him to create by the help of copulation. Daksha Prajapati then married Asiki, Asikti, the daughter of Panchajana, 10,000 sons, including Haryasya, were born to them. Brahmaji take his advice. Brahmaji instructed him to create by help of copulation. Daksha Prajapati then married Asikti, the daughter of Panchajana. 10,000 sons, including Haryansha, was born to them, but all of them were directed by Narada to follow the path of meditation and salvation. After that, Daksha married Panchajani, from whom were born thousands of sons. But all of them followed the path of salvation and were not interested in creation of the people. Narada was instructed in changing their mind. Daksha Prajapati became very furious with Narada and cursed him to become eternal wandering. He said, "You will never remain in a place of long time." Birth of Sati. When Lord Brahma came to know about Daksha Prajapati's anger towards Narada, when Sati attained When Lord Brahma came to know that about Daksha Prajapati's anger towards Narada, he went to him and cooled him down. Subsequently, 60 daughters were born to Daksha. He married his 10 daughters to Dharma, 13 daughters with Kashyapa, 27 daughters to the moon, Chandra, 2 daughters with Bhutangiras, 2 daughters with Krishashva, and the remaining 6 daughters with Garuda. Daksha mediated on the form of Bhagavati and was instructed by her to do penance. Daksha did tremendous penance and thus was born Uma to Daksha and Virani. Uma, brought up with a great love and affection. Uma used to worship Lord Shiva by singing devotional songs in the praise of Lord Shiva. Sati does penance. When Sati attained marriageable age, Daksha started worrying. Sati understood the reason behind the father's worry. She went to her mother Virani and expressed her desire of marrying Shiva. Her mother made all the arrangements so that Sati could worship Shiva without any problem. Sati commenced her austerity, named Nandavrata, which continued for a year. Being impressed by her austerities, all the deities, all the devas descended down from heaven to see her. All the deities and the sages requested Lord Shiva to get married, but Shiva did not want to curtail his freedom by getting married. When the deities insisted, he told them to find a suitable. Brahmaji makes a request to Lord Shiva. All the deities and the sages requested Lord Shiva to get married, but Shiva did not want to curtail his freedom by getting married. When the deities insisted, when the devas insisted, he told him to find a suitable match for him. Brahma and Vishnu told Shiva about the tremendous penance of Uma was doing to him to become Shiva, her husband. They also requested him have to go to her, Uma, and fulfill her desire. Lord Shiva agreed. Shiva blesses Uma with a boon. After Uma had accomplished her penance named Nandavrata, Lord Shiva appeared before her and asked her to demand anything. Uma, because of her shyness, could not say anything. Lord Shiva knew about her desire, so he said, "You will have me as your husband." Uma's face beamed with joy and she shyly requested Lord Shiva to help his proposal before Daksha. Shiva agreed and said Tathastu. He then went back to hear about Kailasa. Sati narrated the whole story to her parents. Both of them became very happy with this news. Lord Shiva then instructed Brahmaji to put a formal proposal to Daksha regarding his marriage of Sati, his daughter. Lord Brahma went and informed Daksha about Lord Shiva's proposal. Daksha was very happy at the proposal. Brahma then came back to Lord Shiva. Shiva married Sati. Shiva and Sati got married. Daksha Badavati arranged a wedding. We will listen to this section the next session. शंभवे नमः विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्रयंबकाय त्रिपुरांतकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकंठाय मृत्युंजयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः हरि ओम नमोस्तु अनंताय सहस्रमूर्तये सहस्रपादाक्षरपाद सहस्रनाम्ने पुरुषाश्रितये सहस्रकोटियुगधारिणे नमः सहस्रकोटियुगधारिणे नमः आकाशात् परिदम्यतागिरसागरं सर्वदेव नमस्कारः श्रीकेशवं परिगत्यो नमः सर्ववेदेशत्पुण्यं सर्वतीर्थेशयत्फलं तत्फलं वासनात् वासुदेवस्य वासदन्ते जयत्रयं सर्वभूतनिवासोऽस्य वासुदेवस्य कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि नारायणाय समर्पयामि ओम ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डाय नमः ओम ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डाय नमः ओम ह्रीं